Look, Mom, I'm coding.
Hi, it's Marcel again from kwamekiss.com. And in the last walkthrough, I created an Azure virtual network, very simple, added two subnets to the virtual network, an app subnet and a data subnet. And what I'm going to do now, as we can see here, I forgot that I had I had that up. I also created a resource group, and I added this virtual network to that resource group. So really I guess the idea behind resource groups, I guess I can talk about that for a quick second, is basically the rule of thumb is if your resources need to be brought up and torn down all together, it's a good idea to keep them all in a resource group. And if you're studying for a certification like I am, it's a good idea to keep all of your resources in a resource group so that tearing them down isn't a hassle, and it doesn't require that you run around your portal looking for the different resources that you deployed just to bring them back down again. Perfect. So I'm going to go into virtual machines because what we're going to do is we're going to create two different virtual machines, and I think I'll do all of that at once. And the virtual machines will be hosting just really simple web apps. All right, so we will specify the virtual machine as, let's see, we'll do a Windows Server 2012 R2 data center. Okay. And the deployment model will be resource manager. I think classic is the other option. Yeah, classic is ASM instead of ARM, to my knowledge. So we're going to go through and configure the basic settings, and then we'll choose the virtual machine size. So we can just call this web VM or something like that. And then we'll just add in one at the end, just because it's one. SSD, then the username for so when you're using RDP to remote into the virtual machine, this is what you'll use. This is pretty much the login for the VM. Essentially your admin. So I'll do that, and I'll issue a password. Actually, let me just do something like that. Work? Yeah, it does. Yeah, that should be fine. I'm going to use an existing resource group. Let's walk through. It's going to be in the Eastern US. And it says that you can save 40% with a license that you already own. I do not have a Windows Server license, so I'm just going to click OK. And it validates. And then now what we'll do is we'll choose the virtual machine size. And we're going to go with I think we'll just do DS1 V2 standard. And it's important to note just the difference. So there's standard, I believe there's a basic as well. I think if you view all, you might be able to start running into the basics. And it's not loading up for me, but anyway, so there's standard, I believe there's basic, which I think is like the free version. There's some things that aren't supported with some of these different with some of the machines that they have listed here. So you definitely want to just kind of plan out, and this goes without saying, right? You have to design your network before. Oh crap, that doesn't work. Let's go back one step. I chose D2, E2. Excuse me, that's a bigger machine. That's what I get for trying to show a couple of other things. So we're going to select that. So it goes without saying, design your network so that you know, or just your environment, just so that you know what you'll be doing as far as just the kind of resources that you'll need, and then from there you go into Azure and you figure out which kind of machines will support the work that you're trying to do. You don't want to go the other way around, because you might end up with a machine that's spun up, and then it won't support the configurations or whatever have you that your organization might need in order to support whatever it is that you're doing. So just keep that in mind. So I am going to create an availability set. And what that'll do is it'll help out with it'll help out with the load balancing. So we're gonna click network security group. I'm gonna create a new one, and I'm gonna create a couple of rules here, inbound rules. So we've got RDP all set up, which is good. We're just gonna call this apps NSG, just to go with that. We're going to add an inbound rule here, and it's going to be called HTTP. The priority will be 100. The source will be any, and then the service will be HTTP, and that's over TCP port 80, and we're going to allow that. So the network security group is essentially the firewall that allows this inbound connection to come into your network, into your virtual machine. Yeah, let's click OK on that. Let's see if it worked out. Perfect. So it gives you an IP address and all of that fun stuff. And let's see, what are we missing? So now we're going to configure the high availability. We're going to create a new one, and we're going to call it apps set or something like that. Apps, something like AV set. The default domains will be at 3, and the update domains will be 5. Okay. So Azure's definition of a fault domain: virtual machines with the same fault domain share common power source and physical network switch. And the update domain is a virtual machine in the same update domain will be restarted together during planned maintenance. Azure never restarts more than one update domain at a time. Okay, click OK. Straightforward. And we've got the public IP address all set up. Guest OS diagnostic storage account. Creating a storage account for the diagnostics, which diagnostics is a completely different monster in itself. So if you want to learn more about diagnostics, you can check out the documentation before I end up doing a walkthrough, because I will do a diagnostics walkthrough as well. All right, so this should be good. I mean, I think we're all set here. Let's click OK and get this VM up and running. Now, when you create a virtual machine, what you want to do, it goes through a little validation, and you can download this template just for just kind of automation for the next time if you find yourself spinning up VMs with the same configurations. You can save that, and next time you can create a VM with a template, and you just kind of go here, search for go to new, search for template, and you'll be able to do that. It's very straightforward. I believe it downloads the template in JSON. Uh, in the JSON format, just because that's the ARM template supports JSON. Um, yeah, so I think that's the format that if you download it, that's the format that you'll receive. So this is going to take a couple of minutes to deploy. I believe it takes like 15 minutes or so. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press pause. And then it actually should be a lot less than 15 minutes, but just to save it, I'm going to press pause, and then I'll come back when it's done, and then we'll have one machine up. And you always want to make sure, I don't know if I mentioned this already, it's really late and I'm tired, but you always want to make sure that you are waiting for your deployment. You're waiting for that to complete before you deploy another server. That's just kind of, I just think that's the best practice. So, you wait for one server to deploy, confirm that everything is all copacetic, and then you go back in and then you create a new server. You go back and you deploy a new server.